Hello and welcome back to a podcast where I talk about going from corporate drone to corporate dropout as a fitness entrepreneur and gaming creator and everything in between. You know it, you love it. Welcome back to Chaos and Fuckery. And new in gaming news, kind of, I guess. This game, for those who are not watching, I'm holding up my DK barrel that I got from Epic Universe. The DK Bonanza is a week old. It launched last week, and I wanted to talk about a little bit when it comes to gaming and streaming. Should you stream new games? Do you have to stream new games? And then dive into the DK Bonanza world and what it was like being a content creator to stream, as a small content creator, to stream that new game amongst all of the large SMO, Nintendo style creators. Basically, everyone I watch regularly was streaming this game. So let's talk a little bit about the launch last week. So many creators, as I mentioned in a previous episode, went to Australia. And for those just listening, I put up air quotes there so that they could start streaming the game a day early. Because for those who don't know, Nintendo is notorious for taking down streams or taking down videos that come out earlier than the game is supposed to be. Even if the game is physically delivered to your home early because some retailers messed up, or, you were able to download it earlier, whatever the situation is, even if you did nothing wrong, Nintendo is notorious for, blackballing you for leaking the content. So it is a very risky game to download a game in a different time zone than you currently reside in order to play it early. However, that is what a lot of creators did, and there's really nothing Nintendo can do to stop that because there's really no proof, realistically speaking. I mean, unless you really want to IP hunt people, and I think that's a little bit ridiculous, right? If it comes out early, it comes out early. Plenty of, gaming industries do, pre-launch, pre-orders. Like, pre-ordering actually means something to, some Steam games and things like that because you get access early. Look at, the Hogwarts Legacy launch. When you pre-ordered the Hogwarts Legacy Deluxe, I think, was when you got access to the game, a day or two early. One of the newer games that have come out recently, Rematch, you could get early access, not only the beta early access, but early access to the game by buying a certain version of the game. So you had free roam on the servers with you and your friends for, I think, up to a week before the game officially launched or something crazy like that. So I personally think Nintendo's kind of missing out on being so strict about release games. But it's Nintendo. Do they really have to care? No, not really. Because, Hogwarts Legacy launched significantly after the fact on Switch in comparison to other platforms it launched on because, Switch couldn't even handle the game until much later in life. Anyways, DK Bonanza, news in the Nintendo world. I have become a Nintendo gaming creator pretty frequently. It's kind of my preference right now is to play Nintendo games. I don't know why. I'm in a little bit of a nostalgia era, I guess, with my gaming where I want to play a lot of Nintendo. It might just because it's the easiest thing to stream. I like playing a lot of my Steam games offline. I have a lot I like to play, but I don't necessarily like to play Steam games. The gimmick, I guess, the fitness gimmick that I'm starting to do and consistency in my content, will I occasionally pick up, Batman or something again on stream? Absolutely. But for now, I think I'm going to focus on building around being kind of more Nintendo just because I'm really enjoying the games. I want to go back and play some Pokemon games. I want to play Alpharad's Super Mario Mon. I want to play Alpharad's Too Many Types and Too Many Types 2 when Too Many Types 2 launches in a few weeks. There are so many different, Nintendo either user-created things or not user created, but you know what I mean. There are so many Nintendo or Nintendo adjacent things that make being a part of the Nintendo kind of creation world a lot of fun. However, with DK Bonanza launching or even Rematch or anything like that, the question is always with content creators, if I am a variety streamer, is my only option hopping on the newest games and being first to the stall, if you will? And the answer is depends. If you are a larger creator already that does variety, yes. Or if you are a larger creator that does Nintendo, or a larger creator that does, you were Rocket League and then you moved over to Rematch, your biggest bang for your buck would in fact be hitting that new game first and getting a video out and getting your perspective out before anybody else, because people will get, first playthrough fatigue. So unless you are planning on doing it with a gimmick from the start, you want to be one of the first people into the algorithm talking about the game. If you were a variety streamer, if you are typically, a first-person shooter and a Nintendo game comes out, no one's gonna care in your audience. You don't need to go around playing Bananza. And that's where I had to kind of shape my variety, because I built a lot of my original audience on being a Kingdom Hearts streamer. And then a fitness streamer on top of that. Like, I did Fitness Fridays and then Kingdom Hearts with no fitness on Monday and Wednesday. So there wasn't a lot of combination between the two styles of things. Now, I am streaming almost solely Nintendo. And there's a fitness gimmick with every game I do. The fitness gimmick changes, but there is a fitness gimmick no matter what. And then I will have dedicated days where I'm just fully fitness games. It's not a gimmick. It's just I'm testing a VR game or something like that I need to test for a video. Or because I got offered to test it or whatever it is. That is, I'll bring up a Fitness Friday, and typically I'll keep Fitness Friday, right? If I want to do a Coach Reacts video, because a while back I did, go into the health and fitness category and stream me reacting to, I think, Jubilee's health versus, skinny versus fat, I want to say, was what I was reacting to. It was one of the Jubilee super controversial videos that, Myron from Fresh and Fit was in. So I streamed myself. I thought about potentially turning it into a video and never did. But I did stream it, and I got some good commentary back and forth with people while we were discussing different reasons of, what is my opinion of these questions and things like that. It was a commentary style video. And I'm going to try some Coach Reacts with like TikTok videos and maybe incorporating full YouTube videos in the future. Just to try out commentary. It's not really my style. If I'm talking commentary, this podcast, and maybe that's where I move a lot of that. I move it to here instead of on my main channel, and maybe just do like TikTok reacts on my main channel and talk a lot about the commentary aspect of certain videos and things like that here, and start, playing them directly while I'm recording these podcasts. I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know how I'm going to do it. But talking about, firsthand experience of now focusing mostly on Nintendo games and starting to stream Nintendo. Or, in a bigger category with a new game, right? Everyone and their mother was playing DK Bonanza when I started playing it on release night. Yeah. It was on release night. I couldn't think of it. Release in the US night. Everyone was playing it. But I was enjoying my stream because I was enjoying the game, and I was enjoying whoever came in and chatted occasionally and things like that. So I was able to stream a lot longer than when I'm not enjoying it. Even with the fact that I added an extra gimmick in the form of the DK barrel full of vodka, I was still enjoying, having to do the Wheel of Pain and everything else. So, with that, what do I think of being a small creator streaming in a big category? If you were excited about the game, do it. You might not, on a platform like Twitch, you might not see immediate numbers from that stream. But in my experience, you will see numbers from turning that stream into a video, whether you're gimmicking or it's a first playthrough, or every unique creator has a different perspective, right? Look at, I'm thinking the most recent Super Mario Odyssey thing that a lot of people did was the Kaizo mod. Everyone played the Kaizo mod, but I, as a consumer of that content, watched all of their POVs because each one of them had unique struggles with that mod. So, do you have to be first? No, because you're probably not going to get the number. You don't have the editor as a small creator. You don't have the time as a smaller creator to be able to turn around a video in 24 hours. You're not going to be first. So think of a fun way to edit your video that's not just a standard playthrough. Or maybe you're a no commentary playthrough. Or maybe, and you don't have to even stream it at that point, you're just creating the video. Maybe you are, like me, and I do the fitness gimmick. I know one of the smaller Morph, who I've talked about on this podcast before, is doing a no punch run, or did a no punch run. DK without punching. What kind of insanity? Like, how much do you have to hate yourself to do a run like that? So there are plenty of ways to make your content unique, that if you're playing a game that everybody and their mother is playing because it just released, you can change that for your content creation journey. And I've had to learn that a lot as I continue to grow and push for both gaming and fitness to be in the same place, and have a gaming channel that shows my fitness gimmicks, and then a fitness channel that I talk about ways for gamers to get fit rather than blending the two into one channel is a thing. That's my gimmick. That's my thing. And I will do, hopefully in the future, I can convince people to do a Mario Party or a Mario Kart World type collaboration stream, where every time you get knocked out of Knockout Tour, you have to do exercises, or every time, like the drinking rules for Mario Party, but turn them into exercise rules. Those kind of things. If I can get some other streamers to do those kind of things with me, that would be fun and a different gimmick that nobody else is doing, right? That being said, even though you won't get a lot of visibility as a smaller streamer in, the DK Bonanza category right now, is the game worth it? Now, worth it is a very weird topic currently, because everyone's talking about the price of games and hobbyists being kind of priced out of their hobby. And we've talked a little bit on this podcast about that. However, I'm going to go with the price I paid, which was $70, because I bought the digital. I have no interest in the physical. I call it clutter because I don't, cases and whatever. I have no interest in the physical. It's pointless. I get it. You don't technically own the game when it's digital, blah, blah, blah. Don't care. I really don't care. Anyways, I paid $70 for DK Bonanza, and I'm only, at the time of recording, by the time this goes live, I'll probably be done with the game, but at the time of recording, I'm probably, maybe halfway through the game, maybe not even close to halfway, a quarter through the game, whatever it is. I played for 5.5 hours, but I get easily distracted by the fact that you can take out every planet. So how that doesn't really gauge, how far I am into the game. Anyways, at that being said, I've watched a lot of the creators and kind of found my way through what the game looks like at different varying points in post-game and things like that. Is it worth it? If you enjoyed Super Mario Odyssey, yes. If Super Mario Odyssey was a game that you enjoyed, you absolutely 100% should get DK Bonanza. Is it a $70 game? Because this is kind of the first wave of games from Nintendo since their price hikes. I think so. I think I would have paid, as a Nintendo fan, I should say, I would have paid the same price for that as I would, like a COD game, right? And at this point in time, those two games are about the same. It really depends on your preferences to say whether or not it's worth a $70 price tag. But at the end of the day, most games are going to be in that price range. So it's not really Nintendo's fault that the gaming industry as a whole has set this unnecessarily high price for video games. And I get it, especially with Nintendo being a very kid-focused platform. $70 is a lot for parents. The $450 console is a lot. But if you were already planning on buying your kid the console, console's not getting any cheaper. Games aren't getting any cheaper. DK Bonanza is absolutely a game that your kids would enjoy. It's not overly difficult, and there's fun new gimmicks in the game that I think is absolutely worth buying. And if you're just a general Nintendo fan, if you're one of those people that, bum rush the Super Nintendo World at Universal Hollywood or Universal Tokyo or Universal's Epic Universe here in Orlando, or you've been dying for an opportunity to go to Super Nintendo World to see all of these things live and in person just like me, then absolutely DK Bonanza is a Nintendo game for you. I do foresee a lot of longevity similar to Super Mario Odyssey with this game, whether it be in speedrunning, whether it be in 100%ing, whether it be in just future DLCs even maybe for the game. Maybe a future follow-on for the game itself or a game of similar gameplay. This game was also made by the same devs of Super Mario Odyssey, so if you did enjoy that kind of game, this game is very, very similar. Controls-wise, it's not identical, obviously, because why would it be? But it is similar in gameplay and kind of story and the way it moves. Aside from the fact, which will make the speedrunning aspect very interesting to see how routing goes, there is a skill tree mechanic in this game that they announced during all the promotions and things like that will make the fact that you don't have to acquire moons or stars, or in this case bananas, to progress the game very interesting. There are not a set amount of bananas that you have to get. However, those bananas help you earn skill points for the skill tree, which would make your end game a lot easier. But in a speed run, the less cutscenes you have to deal with, the better. So it'll make the longevity is already being seen in the game that people will be creating and optimizing routes for quite a long time, in my opinion. We're seeing somewhere around a 2.5 to 2 hour speedrun time, and people are going to be pushing to optimize that just like they did with Odyssey, that is now sub-hour for an 80% speedrun. Just the same, in my opinion. There are a lot of people who haven't even finished the game and they're going to 100% the game before they even start speedrunning it. And I'm already seeing people try to route 80% speedruns in the general creation categories. So, yes, this game will provide you countless amounts of hours, especially if you try to 100% it and get all the bananas and get all the different things, all the different skill points and whatever. It absolutely is worth the $70 price tag. It's actually a pretty large game already. So getting to a point of, a future DLC expansion, if that is what Nintendo chooses to do, I could foresee it, This game's popularity is showing what Nintendo can do when they bring back some characters that they haven't really put a lot of focus on in a long time. This game is also showing what Nintendo can do with a team like the team that created Super Mario Odyssey without creating a sequel to Super Mario Odyssey. Taking that same team and putting them on a new character that needed a little bit of light, that hasn't had a lot of light in the Nintendo world recently. I could see a future large expansion of the DK world, and I'm excited for it. Similar to the Switch 2 launch, many wanted DK to fail, many wanted DK to not be, the game that everyone was hyping it up to be, and I don't foresee that being the thing. The reviews on this game are outrageous for any game, and I want to say on opening day, GN gave DK Bonanza at like a 95%, which was insane. So the reviews are in, and the reviews are talking high praises of the game. I played it, and I am loving it. I've watched other creators play it and love it, and these are diehard Odyssey fans that are very, very judgmental of future Mario games and Nintendo games just because they fell in love so deeply with Odyssey and its new mechanics. I think DK is the way forward for Nintendo in the Mario style gaming, right? The 3D platformer kind of games that we get from the Mario universe. What will we see with Pokemon ZA? I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know. The promos don't look great, but hopefully maybe with the extra time between the launch of the Switch 2 and now, they have had some time to optimize the game a little bit and maybe listen to some feedback that we're seeing from creators that are Pokemon creators and Nintendo creators for the game before it officially releases. However, I do think Nintendo's on the right path, and people can talk about how they're this evil, greedy corporation all they want, but at the end of the day, Nintendo will always have fans, and to some extent, Nintendo fans have put what's that saying? They have put the line on the floor, if you will, to have a successful game. I mean, a lot of people are going back and replaying Scarlet and Violet now on the Nintendo Switch 2 because it actually plays. And yes, with graphics and performance of the consoles, Nintendo has not been great, but hopefully the Switch 2 and its upgrades are a step in the right direction for that to not happen anymore, and for us to get some pretty great games in the Nintendo world. As a creator, I think Nintendo is safe. It has a large cult-like following and many, many generations. It is a generational style games because they have so many exclusives that have created so many memories in multi-generations. If you are a Nintendo fan, starting as a creator with Nintendo, even the fact that there are a lot of Nintendo creators, you will still see visibility because people are willing to watch the content just to see all the different POVs. I mean, look at the SMO hide and seek group. People will watch every POV of the same hide and seek session just to see the silly versions of, you know, the hijinks of Smollant and Fur in the background and the crash out of CJ. They'll watch all the different POVs, and all of those creators will get views because of that. And I think that's one thing the creator I brought up previously, Morph, does really well in this community, is he brings a collaborative stream together that just highlights all of the different people. And they've each kind of almost created their own reality show in Morph's universe, where each of them kind of have their gimmick for the things that Morph does, to the point that these creators actually have to be like, hey, we're all friends, this is all for fun and games and content, like chill, to the chats that are defending their favorite creators. And I think DK Bonanza will provide a lot more of that fun side-by-side speedruns. Maybe even Smollant will add it to bingo so that we can see more of those styles of content, but for DK Bonanza and new versions of things. We might see an Ascend bingo where, you know, these speedrunners aren't as familiar with the game, even though they've 100%ed it. It'll be a lot more interesting because they're not, you know, instantly proving that they know an exact route for bingo. And I am interested to see if, you know, creators like Morph or, you know, a new creator creates, you know, GeoGuessr, but for DK. Although, you know, GeoGuessr's a bad example, right? You could do something like Taskmaster for DK because it doesn't have to be online with everybody. So I see a future where DK becomes a center point in previous SMO creators' content log. And I'm excited for that because I'm hoping to be a part of that larger community, maybe not necessarily, you know, the big one that I just talked about, because they're the main guys and they're huge. That's not something I ever would, I mean, maybe one day. But right now, I would love to find little smaller Nintendo communities that, you know, also enjoy these creators, but also want to build their own circle of Nintendo stuff to see. And, you know, maybe I start learning to speedrun, but honestly, if I learned to speedrun any game, it would probably be Kingdom Hearts. And as a content creator, I think DK Bonanza opens up a whole new world of, you know, games that aren't oversaturated, because Odyssey's been around for, like I said, 8 years now. So there's a ton. They've pretty much used the content at this point. And Mario Kart World doesn't have... I don't think Mario Kart World at launch had the hype. There were a lot of people excited about specific components of Mario Kart World, and Mario Kart is just a general, like, fun community game in the Twitch realm, but you don't see people really focused on, you know, speedrunning Mario Kart. Or there's a few creators that do, and like speed trials, sure, but not like full speed runs for leaderboard. That's not as fun to most people because it's a short speed run. So I do foresee DK creating a resurgence, if you will, in the Nintendo speedrun categories, just like Nuzlocke do for Pokemon. So, and I want to get into both. As a creator, I'm very excited for these things. It excites me, and I think that's had something to do with the spark that I talked about in Saturday's episode that kind of came back to me. DK had me streaming for the longest I've streamed in a long time. I haven't done anything more than a 4-hour stream probably since my 12-hour, 13-ish hour stream that I did for my birthday last year. I am unbelievably excited to get this going and to start building content around being a Nintendo creator. Not just because, you know, Nintendo has a large community, it might be easier to grow than, say, a Batman community, but because I genuinely forgot how much I enjoy Nintendo and the games that came with it and Pokemon and, you know, silly gimmicks. I was playing Pokemon Go at Epcot for the first time recently, and I want to start doing like a gimmick in my short form where I go and play Pokemon Go in new places. And, or, not necessarily new places, but at the theme parks, and find all the random Pokestops people have created at these places, to be able to incorporate my theme park content with my gaming content and my fitness content all in one, because, we can see how many steps and how many eggs we can incubate. Maybe I have like 3 eggs that I start while I go to a park for a day. Things like that. How many eggs can I incubate entirely while I'm at Halloween Horror Nights? There's so many ideas that can combine these things that I'm excited for, that they're just brewing in my brain. And I kind of want to thank the Switch 2 launch and DK for reinvigorating the gaming side of my gaming fitness business. Because I was feeling so meh about games prior to the Switch 2 launch. I wanted to consume a lot of gaming content, but I didn't really want to play them. And now I kind of feel back. I'm not feeling like I'm tied to any particular content thing. And I can play new games like DK and it not really ruin my gaming schedule. Because if my gaming schedule or my video schedule is reliant on things like Nintendo, I can play DK and it won't matter. And then I can go back to Mario RPG, which is what I was playing before DK came out, once I'm done with DK, and finish up that video. And voila, I have 2 videos to launch with. So, yeah! The fitness gimmicks are back. DK is definitely worth your $70 if you're a Nintendo fan. And as a gaming content creator and business owner, I'm excited for the future of Nintendo and the Switch 2. There weren't a ton of launch games, but if DK is just the beginning of it, I am excited. And I'm excited to see where the content creation piece amongst all of these speedrunners and how much of their content becomes DK now that this game exists. They were previously Super Mario Odyssey creators. They did a little bit of Mario Kart, but from what I've heard just in casual conversation in their chats, the Mario Kart didn't do as well. So I'm hoping to God that we as the consumers allow DK to flourish in the content community so that I can continue to play it, so that these creators can continue to play it in their weird content creation ways. Morph with Taskmaster, CJ Fur and Small Ant maybe getting back into speedrunning because of this game. The Dangers and Failboat with his gimmicks, and I just want to see so many different, typically Nintendo creators do some cool things with this game, and that game being able to be utilized, if you will, in the content creation community is completely dependent on us, the consumers. We have to go show our love for these videos when they start coming out, show our love for the VODs as they're getting posted, as they're getting played, and just show our love for this game in order for them to keep making content about it. And in order, show it for me too, Obviously, I'm not into like the self-plugging thing, but I want to be a part of that community. I want to kind of use DK as a leverage so that I can keep playing it. I can grow my community more that way with my fitness gimmick. And, I made it even more difficult with my vodka gimmick for DK. But I even talk about like ways to, incorporate alcohol into your fitness journey while I'm doing these little fitness gimmicks and, drinking and having a good time with everybody. So there are plenty of reasons to find different versions of people all playing the same game. And I think SMO proved that, and DK is going to continue to prove that. That is all. I'm really excited for DK. DK was a good thing. It's only been a week, and I'm sure by the time this releases, one of these creators is going to have some video about the game that's not just a VOD, but I'm excited to see where it goes. Very, very excited. And as a creator, I think this game helped kind of motivate me, because I streamed for 5.5 hours without even really thinking about it, chit-chatting and playing through the game and breaking the world and, getting stubborn because I wanted a banana, but I kept dying, which meant I kept having to do exercises. It's just fun. It allows me to enjoy life again at almost 30, and I'm okay with that. And it is a lot of chaos. especially when I started adding the Tito's into life. It is a lot of chaos, and I'm a lot of fuckery. So hopefully, we as the consumer, the content creation consumer market, show these videos some love so that DK continues to thrive. The categories were out of control with viewers and whatnot, but it was release weekend. Will these categories stay alive so that people can continue to watch this content and do new things with this content like SMO has? Time will tell, but I hope it does because I'm excited about the game, and it's a game that I might even be willing to learn to speedrun as, one of my first speedruns. Will it be good? Probably not, but it's something new that I've never really thought about doing. Except for with Kingdom Hearts. And this game is making me think that, hey, maybe, just maybe, we can have some fun with it, And I'm excited to see what some of my favorite creators do with it, as well as, what I can do with it. So, show DK videos some love. That's my advice for this episode today. Go show all of your favorite content creators, if you're a Nintendo fan, their DK videos some love as they start coming out over the next week or two. As their editors are wrapping them up, show them some love. Because if they don't do well in the algorithm, unfortunately, we won't see more of this game, and I want to see more of this game. And if you haven't seen any content related to DK because you're trying to avoid spoilers or whatever, simply watching it later once you're done with the game is also okay. Just show the videos some love so that the analytics show the people want more DK. That's my advice. And hopefully that's what happens, and we get to see lots of it, and I get to do more of it, and all of the fun things. But off to the chaos and fuckery of being a content creator, a business owner, a coach, and everything else I need to do today. So I appreciate you for being here, and I've got some chaos and fuckery to wrangle.